my friend Nancy, she's one of these people that just has so much crap going on in her life. It just seems like she's always got something going on. Don't you, Nancy? You're kind of a mess sometimes. She's awesome, though. We've been friends for.
I just think it's a test against my faith, mostly. I
Yeah,
think the devil
spiritual.
takes me and comes at me. Yeah.
Yes. So Nancy and I have been friends for well over 20 years, and really close friends. And so I'm trying to think how to even start this story. I got a phone call, a crazy phone call from Nancy one day. It happened to be my birthday a year and a half ago. And I knew I had been praying all week because we'd been talking, and I knew that there was some crazy stuff going on with her niece. And her niece's husband had been really going like off his rocker, and no one knew what he was going to do. So she was staying with her parents. Her and her two kids were staying with her parents. And anyway, I knew that things were really bad there. And so Nance calls me on this, I think it was a Saturday morning, wasn't it, Nance?
Yes.
Yeah. And she was completely distraught and said that he had murdered her niece's parents. Her, well, it was it's a long story. It's like mixed family and stuff, but her niece's mom and her mom's live-in boyfriend. And
the dog.
And the dog. He went out to their farmhouse, murdered them, and Nance was completely distraught. This was, obviously horrific. And so at the moment, the worst thing, well, beyond the obvious, was that we didn't know where he took his wife and two kids and left, and nobody knew where he was after he murdered her parents, or her mom and boyfriend, whatever. And so he knew that Nance had been helping them all week, and we didn't know if he was coming after Nancy next. So I said, get in the car. But she said she was already in the car. She told me the other day, and come to our house and we'll put your car in the garage, and he doesn't know where we live. So they came up to our house, had our cars out, and we scooped him in the garage and shut the door. And I went to open Nancy's door, and she was so out of it. She couldn't hardly even breathe. She was such a mess, obviously, for obvious reasons. And I had in my hand aconitum, which is for, a lot of things, but one of the things it's for is shock, like when your body is in this initial shock and you can hardly breathe. I gave her a remedy, just kept telling her to take slow breaths. A few minutes later, gave her another remedy. And finally, I was able to get her to actually get out of the car. She wouldn't even get out of the car. She was so distraught, and to have her come in the house. So Nance, tell us what you felt, because you told me the other day that anyway, tell us how you experienced that.
Well, the phone call I received that put me in that state was, you're not safe. You need to leave. And that's when I talked to you and came to your house. I literally was bent in half, and I just couldn't, it was unfathomable what happened. You just don't think that happens to anybody, only in the movies. And just the feeling of complete helplessness and amazing fear beyond what people are experiencing right now with the coronavirus. This fear was like super scary. I was bent in half. Kelly gave me that, and I honestly can't really remember a lot of it. I do remember finally coming into her home and was on her couch, and I still kind of was bent in half, and she just kept coming to me but kept moving about doing her thing. I felt horrible. It was on her birthday. I didn't know at the time because it was a whole nother world that day. After about every 15 minutes of her giving that to me, I was slowly able to sit up, pay attention to, I was not able to pay attention to anything going on around me. Nothing. I couldn't converse. I couldn't talk. It was the worst shock ever. And then I was able to sit up and I was able to drink water or some tea. I don't remember what Kelly did for me, to where every 15 minutes or so of her giving that to me, I was able to comprehend what was going on around me. I was able to go out on her deck and pray a rosary just for peace of mind. And we were just really praying for the kids in Samantha. Like, what are they doing for them? I mean, what did he do to them? I mean, that was my fear. Oh my goodness, what is he doing? What is going on? What's happening? And it was just unbelievable. And it, after praying the rosary, we got news that her husband let them go. And
Well, this was hours later, though. This
it
was
was
a
hours later.
long, scary day.
It was. And then it gave me, the aconite gave me the power to, I don't know if I would even call it power. I was able to function after that. I was able to be there for my niece. I stepped in. She no longer had parents. She looked to me as her mother, and I was able to function, and I was able to respond the correct way with everything. And it was like, there's no way I could have done that. I would have stayed stuck, bent in half, hyperventilating, and never would have been able to do anything. I would have been no good to anyone. But I truly believe, because of Kelly helping me with that remedy, I don't even know how many hours it was. That's what got me through. And then I was able to just plow through for the next 6 months or so, being in their lives. And then it became a little bit where I'm like, okay, I helped you. I opened doors for you to help you. Now I got to step back.
Yeah,
So
it got really stressful. But yeah, it was a combination of the homeopathy and lots of prayer and God's grace. Yeah,
yeah,
totally what got you through for sure, Nance.
yeah.
So now we have one more miracle story to share, just another powerful one, not quite as dramatic, but pretty good still. So tell them about yesterday, Nance.
Yesterday, I live in chronic pain. I have a strange disease called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, where my muscles don't adhere to my bones and I break really easy. Um, Recently in August, I was in physical therapy trying to get myself stronger. I was doing a simple exercise of lowering myself down with my arms behind me, and I blacked out and came to, and I was in really weird pain, and something was wrong with my chest and my vocal cords. And I discovered that my ribs came off my sternum, and now I'm crooked. And it's been causing pressure on my heart, and I just am in a lot of pain all the time. But this yesterday was horrible. I woke up in a 10. The pain was 10. I was nauseous. I was dizzy. And I called Kelly and just said, Cal, what do I do? I'm nervous. I'm scared. I feel like something's really broken and they need to do something more. But until then, because everything's on hold because of the virus taking over the world, they aren't seeing you for what you were going to go for. So, what was it that you told me to take, Cal? You know the names really
Roost
well.
Tax. I told her to take Roost Tax for the pain because I knew that helped her the other day. She
Yes,
told me that it took her pain away in 10 minutes. And so like go with what works. And then I also told her to take Nux Vomica for the nausea.
right. So I did that in 15-minute intervals of each other. And I held them in my mouth as long as I could, because that's what I thought I read as well, to keeping them in your mouth as long as you can. And it slowly worked. And within how long? Within 45 minutes? Well, no, after taking my second dose of the Rust Tax,
Yep.
what was the third thing I threw in?
Oh, what's it? Caledonium?
I don't remember. Shoot. It had two names in it.
Well, a
It,
lot of them have two names, but like you can just
it,
shorten them to the one name.
it was for, actually, it said right on the little vial, it said for right upper pain in your back. So I'm like, okay, that's where all the pain is settling in my shoulder. So I took that, and then I think it was less than 45 minutes. I was 100% pain free.
Well, and the
Come,
crazy thing was, so I was texting her now and then to see how she's doing, and she say, "Oh, like the nausea's not better yet." And I said, "Well, how many doses have you taken of that?" And she said, "Just one." I go, "Okay, well, probably will take a little bit more." So she took, I think, only 1 or 2 more doses, and the nausea was gone. But after a little bit, she wasn't responding to my text, and finally, her husband responded and said she's been outside weeding. She said she weeded for 4 hours in her garden or out in her yard. So I'm like, well, apparently she's doing better if she's out weeding for 4 hours.
yeah. It was amazing how it was completely gone, just completely no pain whatsoever. So yeah,
I love it.
I swear by it, and I want to heal myself through homeopathy, because there isn't anyone out there who can help me. They don't know what to do for this particular disease. Their option is drugs, and my body freaks out on a drug. I cannot take any medication
Yeah,
except
she's always been super duper sensitive
super
to almost
crazy
every
scary.
medication.
Yes, yeah, it's scary how bad I am. So homeopathy, for it to work like that in that short a time, when I was in that intensive pain where I was crying
Yeah.
and nauseous, and it's not, it was bad. I'm like, okay, I think I need to be in the hospital. But then I'm like, no, they won't do anything for me there. So yeah,
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, Nance.
thank you.